Hi, I'm Kesenya and welcome to Guiding Star Astrology. I'm your Astro Weather Girl, here with this week's Astro Weather Report. I'm going to show you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. In my videos, I use both Vedic and traditional Western techniques with tropical astrology, not sidereal astrology. I also use the traditional system of whole sign astrology for my analysis. You can use this video to the best of your advantage by listening to the introduction to understand what the week holds for you, and then going to the timestamps for your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a more personalized forecast for the week ahead. Astrology is not designed to scare you. It's designed to give you information so that you know what the good and the challenging energies in the week ahead will be, and you can therefore consciously work with them to the best of your advantage. Remember, knowledge is power. Now, there are scammers about, and so if you should receive a message from me on any platform requesting your money for a reading, know that it is a scam. Report them immediately. And now settle in and let's see what the astral skies have in store for the week ahead. Hello, my lovely YouTube family, and thank you for joining me for this week's Astro Weather Report. We are looking at the energies that are playing out in the sky between the 25th of March right through to the 1st of April, April Fool's Day. So I want to mention before we start looking at this particular chart and what is going on here, that this is your last week. Actually, no, there's 2 weeks left. I tell a lie. There's 2 weeks left to jump on board the Royal Stars Academy intermediate level. It's on sale until the 8th of April for $100 less than the usual price, a discount of $100 off the usual price. If you've wanted to explore astrology in depth and get certified, there has never been a better time to do a special astrology course like this one. The link's in the description below. It is your last week to like, share, and subscribe to this channel in order to go into the March draw to win a solar return report, a year ahead report, to understand what's coming up for you in the year ahead. So like, share, and subscribe, and next week I'll be announcing the winner of the competition that I run every single month. For anyone who likes, shares, and subscribes and lets me know in the comments that they've done so. Finally, I just want to let you know tomorrow, coming out here on the Guiding Star Astrology YouTube channel, is a video that I have done, an interview I've done with David Warner Matheson. We're going to be talking all about the upcoming event in Bryce and Zion Canyons in Utah, where we're going to be doing some stargazing, we're going to be doing some myth exploring, we're going to be doing some breath work and doing some Wim Hof ice baths. You'll find out all about this particular retreat that is running in this interview that's coming out on my channel tomorrow. And the final thing I want to mention is that as I'm recording this video, it is thunderstorming outside, so you might hear some thunderclaps. The lighting might get particularly dark at some point as the clouds roll over, but it's quite a stormy old day here. It's beautiful. I'm loving it. I love a thunderstorm, but it might affect the video quality. I'm just letting you all know. Okay, what's happening this week in the astral skies? The first thing, the thing we're all going to celebrate and get excited about, is Mars moving into Cancer. Finally, after all this time in Gemini, where he's been out of bounds, where he's been retrograding, he's like, enough with the Gemini, I'm moving into Cancer. This is happening on the 25th of March. The thing is, Mars is not a happy chappy in the sign of the Crab. You know, he has a feisty, lively persona that gets a, splash of cold water thrown over him when he moves into the water sign of Cancer. Now, he's not up to any harm here, but the vigor and the enthusiasm that we require for life on Earth kind of becomes a bit subdued while he stays in the sign of Cancer. So maybe that's something we need after all the craziness of Mars in Gemini. But, we really want to get cracking and get going with life, and it can feel like we're a bit of a wet blanket, actually. We might be craving a lot of security during this time. And because both Mars and Cancer can be quite defensive signs in different ways, like Cancer is a protective energy, Mars is the warrior defensiveness, we might be very defensive in how we seek out and obtain security in our lives. We might be very reactive emotionally. We might be oversensitive when, people cross the line with us. We might have trouble expressing our feelings or confronting a difficult situation while Mars is in Cancer. The reason being that we're often overcome with emotions and it's just, too much for us. High emotional reactivity is one of the hallmarks of Mars in Cancer. The best expression of Mars in Cancer energy is to be the warrior protector for others. This is that mother energy of, mother hen, I'm looking after my babies and don't you dare come near. That's Cancer energy. And when Mars, the warrior, is there, we take on that mother protective energy for the sake of other people, that warrior energy for the sake of other people. We might be bold, we might be fearless in the fight against injustice, in the fight against, inappropriate authority, or inappropriate use of tradition. So we can start to fight in that sense, and it'll be interesting to keep an eye on what's unfolding in France in that regard, as the people rise up at the moment to protect their country and what their country stands for. I mean, Cancer is a hugely patriotic sign, so we might be seeing more of that warrior energy to protect their country. That might be happening more all over the world. Our patriotism might get provoked, if you like, or activated with Mars moving through Cancer. We can be moved to act through emotional situations as well. So if we're happy, we will then act. Mars is our action. If we're feeling happy, we might act in happy, joyful ways. If we're feeling sad, we might act in ways that are more withdrawn and melancholy. So emotions are driving a lot of our actions now. So we should seek to keep our emotions light, calm, and positive where we can, and keep those moody blues at bay wherever possible. But that said, also there is a time, like I said, for righteous action. And I think of the people of France, praying for you guys, all blessing to you guys for what you're standing up for right now. Then on March the 28th, we have Mercury making a conjunction down here in Aries with Jupiter. I'll put this up here so she doesn't roll around. Mercury and Jupiter in the sign of Aries at 18 degrees. These two are not exactly friends according to the friendship of the planets system, and yet it's still a conjunction that can bring good tidings of great joy. Good news can arrive under this conjunction. We get the message we've been waiting for. We get the thumbs up for some contract or some official document that we've been waiting to hear about. Good news comes. We can also feel more playful and more fortunate too. Creative ideas are just popping out of our heads, so I would suggest having something at hand to capture them in, like a dream book. I keep a book of where I write down my dreams and aspirations. You might like to record something into your phone, have something at hand for all those creative ideas that are going to start flowing on the conjunction of Jupiter and Mercury. Mercury is also trade and commerce, while Jupiter is prosperity and abundance. So with a combination like this, you can make the most of those two coming together, more prosperity and abundance in your trade and commerce. Now, the 30th of March, we are going to be having a trine between Saturn in Pisces and Mars in Cancer. This is what we're going to be talking about in the All Signs Breakdown. If you've got some mountains to climb, this is the day for it. You go to it. You've got what it takes. This energetic combination gives us the strength of endurance to accomplish what might otherwise feel insurmountable. You know, it's a case of steadily placing one foot in front of the other to get where you want to go, to achieve what you want to achieve. Mars is passion, and with this positive, steadying influence of Saturn, our ability to manifest what we feel strongly about is very well supported. So, you know, we have the passion, we have the enthusiasm, we have the action, and we've got the endurance and the maturity to bring it to fruition. Brilliant. And I might also add, Mars is physical passion. It is sexuality. It's the action we take to embrace our desires, our sexual desires in this case that I'm talking about. So your physical passions are likely to get a healthy dose of longevity too. And that is right. I'm talking about the activities that take place in the bedroom. This is where the going all night scenario can become a reality. So endurance and going for the long haul with the bedroom can be on the cards for some people. Could be lots of fun if that's what you're into. 31st of March, we are having a conjunction of Venus and Uranus. Let's put these two together here at 16 degrees of the sign of Taurus. This annual conjunction of two very fascinating planets bodes very well if you're interested in the online dating scene. If you're single, or if you're not, whatever. If you're looking to connect with somebody online, this is a day where the universe might support you meeting somebody. Be aware that if you're looking for new love, this transit doesn't usually bring affairs or relationships that last, but more relationships that are designed to help us get our mojo back again after a period of tumbleweeds or cobwebs downstairs. It's an exciting time. So you might have an exciting, exhilarating relationship that restores your faith in your attractiveness or your level of appeal in a romantic sense. So if you're in a relationship already, this might give you the opportunity to get some electricity back in your connection, you know. You might do something surprising for your lover, something unconventional, something out of the ordinary. And if you at all inclined that way, this is the day for taking action in that regard. It's an energy of excitement that kind of bubbles up in the area of Venus, love, and money, or love or money. There's no more feeling stagnant with either. So this can shake, Uranus will shake things up, and that can prove to be very liberating for your hip pocket or for your contacts list. So it's a good day to revise a budget or review your investments, review your connections, and make any changes that you feel are necessary. Uranus is a strong planet of change and liberation. Trust your gut, trust your intuition on any changes you want to make with your investments, your money, and with the relationship connections that you have in your life. On, what day did I say this was? The 31st, the last day of March. Okay, so let's talk, my friends, about what this trine between Saturn and Mars is going to bring us for all signs. So we'll start with Cancer. That's interesting because Cancer hasn't gone first in the Astro Wheel lineup for quite a while. So we'll start with Cancer because Mars is the more expressive planet in this case because it's the faster moving planet than Saturn. So, okay, this is where we're going to find some solutions to problems. We might get a breakthrough. We're also going to need to exhibit some form of endurance and steady passion, and we can even act upon our deepest desires now and manifest what we feel strongly about, and it'll have to do with your body. So Cancer friends, it might have something to do with your health and well-being. You know, maybe you find a solution to a problem with your physical health or your fitness or the way you appear, you know, a solution to an issue that you might have had with your appearance that can come through under this energy. You can act upon your deepest desires and manifest what you want. Maybe, you know, you decided I need to get fit and healthy again, so I'm going to go join the gym, and you go join the gym and you're out there and you're going for it and you're like, hey, I can feel how this is really, you know, making my muscles work. It feels good to be active again. Mars is this active sort of muscular energy. And so here in the first house of the body, you might be manifesting more fitness. You might be manifesting a greater like a better appearance in some way, or a more sexy style. Mars is to look sexy and have sex appeal, so you might be manifesting a more sexy image in some way. You might also find that you are feeling more sexually charged and impulsive as well. So, you know, if you have the opportunity to enjoy that, why not? You know, impress your partner with your new physique that you've been working out to achieve. You might be feeling more sporty or competitive under this energy, and so it'd be a good day to have a hit of tennis or a round of golf or whatever it is that you do to compete sporting wise, and use that energy for that. Or you might be feeling very competitive at work, and if you are, then it's actually a good day to implement any changes that you want to in your, any competitive changes in your work environment or social circle or whatever, because any changes that you implement will tend to last and bring benefit. So in that sense, it can be very, very helpful, this beautiful benevolent energy between these two, malefic planets. They are that in Vedic astrology, but you can use it to the greater good. You're feeling like a warrior now, Cancer. You have a mission to resolve, and you have what it takes, the energy of enthusiasm of Mars, and the long-term, goal with it, looking to the long term and what it's going to achieve for you in the long term. You know where you're heading, you know where you're going, you've got the endurance to make it happen and solve this particular, warrior's mission that you might be on. So it's going to affect you quite personally, and it could be affecting you personally into the days and weeks and months ahead. Mars in your chart, Cancer, rules your 10th house, so it might have something to do with career, and that's why I mentioned career. So making some changes that are going to, in the long term, be very beneficial for your career. Oh, listen to the thunder. Very beneficial for your career in the long term. Mars also rules the 5th house, Scorpio, in your chart, so there could be changes to a love dynamic or dynamic with children that is going to be very beneficial in the long term with those areas of life as well. So that's what we're seeing. Don't forget, if you want to study astrology with me, the intermediate level of the Royal Stars Academy is on sale until the 8th of April, $100 off the usual price. If you want to explore astrology in depth and get certified, there's never been a better time than now. All right, so we're moving from Cancer to Leo energy. Leo the lion, lovely Leos. And this is playing out between your 8th house and your 12th house, but we're looking at the influence manifesting through the 12th house in this case. So there's lots of activity going on behind the scenes, but it's beneficial activity that's going to be benefiting you perhaps for a long time into the future. So this could look like, a steady passion happening behind the scenes. This could be your own passion. This is the realm of bed pleasures. So it could be a sexual passion that's going to be blessing you going forward into the future in the long term. There's also the ability to find solutions to problems, maybe problems of loss, problems of dissolution, problems where you're not able to hold on to something's sort of just running through your fingers kind of thing, and you might find a solution to that. This is a problem-solving energy, this trine between Saturn and Mars. So yeah, you might have some problems, usually problems to do with losing something that you can find an answer to, that you can find a solution to. You might win a personal war, Mars, through your research, 12th house. You could also win a spiritual 12th house war. Even a political war would be associated here, or a marketing war, and that victory might last for the long term. This is a house of the realm of the chart to do with dreams. You might dream of Mars things: conflict, aggression, bullying, violence, victory, being a warrior, being a Wonder Woman, being a Superman. And this can be a reflection of the subconscious battles coming out in your dreams, but there can be, with this beautiful trine, there can be healing through those dreams that come forth now. So pay attention to your dreams. They could actually stay with you. The energy of those dreams could stay with you for the long term and prove beneficial for you in some way in your waking life in the long term. Meditative walks are useful. Why? Because Mars is to move, and here in the 12th house of meditation and connection to other dimensions, doing meditative walks or a physical spiritual practice like yoga can be very beneficial for you. Saturn represents subconscious fears and worries, and the 12th house can have that kind of inclination sometimes too. But because of this beautiful trine, I would say that you will find solutions to any subconscious fears and worries that you might have been experiencing, my Leo friends. Your sex life can be very vivid, full of passion, full of deep emotion in the sign of Cancer. This going forward, when I say for the long term, we could be looking at, until there's a new aspect forming between these two. So it could be for a few months yet. So very beneficial kind of energy in that regard. Now, in a Leo chart, Mars is the ruler of the ninth house. So it's likely that you could be having some sort of a breakthrough with, that will give you benefit for the long term regarding a foreign situation or a cultural situation. That could be quite a blessing. Mars also rules your fourth house of home. There could be a breakthrough regarding place of living, regarding how you're living, regarding your domestic life, that's going to change things going forward for the long term for you as well, Leo. All right. Now Virgo rising, Virgo sun signs and moon signs, we will need to steady you. But what we're seeing here is a trine forming between Saturn in Pisces, your seventh house, to Mars in the 11th house. This is at 2 degrees that this is occurring. So this is the house of how we can be profitable and gainful. And what this trine is telling you is that through maybe a partnership or a connection, you can be profitable and gainful for the long term by exerting your willpower, not over your partner, by working with a partner and, really putting some effort in, some hard work in, really going for it, taking the bull by the horns, so to speak, to do that project together, to work on that business together, whatever it is. Exerting your willpower can see you be profitable and gainful, taking initiative, taking action with a partner, Saturn here. There might be an opportunity that rises up for you to lead big groups. It could feel like you might have to take a leadership role, and that might feel like the right thing to do, the responsible thing to do, the mature thing to do. Saturn's influence there. If you've got to organize events or social occasions for big groups of people, that can happen now in a blessed way, in a way that's supported by the universe going forward in the long term. So that's good if you're working on any large social gatherings of any nature as well. Usually Mars in the 11th house can sometimes cause conflicts with friends and networks and that kind of thing through our social connections. We can have conflicts, but Saturn here will steady things. Saturn here will help you approach those situations more maturely, more wisely, with wisdom, with patience and endurance. So you can you've really got what it takes to navigate friendship and social circles well now under this energy. Some people who are Virgo rising might come up with a breakthrough or an innovation that's going to really help people for the long term going forward into the future. This is an Upachaya house, so the results of this combination and how they are exhibiting in your life are going to get better and better and better. So if you initiate something, Mars is to initiate. If you initiate something with friends now, if you initiate some sort of new idea, new invention, it might start off small, but it could ripple like, throwing a rock into a pond. Ripple, ripple, ripple for quite some time, giving you long-term benefits and gains. So many ways that this energy could play out that could bless you. Now, in a Virgo rising chart, Mars is ruling the 8th house. So there might be some sort of long-term benefit available to you through connecting with an astrologer or a tarot reader or somebody else involved in those kinds of esoteric arts, any kind of, occult practices. So there could be some gainfulness available to you there. There could also be some sort of gainfulness perhaps in the long term through a will or a legacy or sharing money with somebody else in some way, like a joint partnership or a joint venture where you're splitting the money, or somebody else's money being other people's assets are 8th house. So somebody gives you a home to rent, or somebody gives you a car to borrow, or something like that can be very beneficial for you. going forward. Mars also rules in a Virgo chart the third house, which is Scorpio. So there's something that could be very beneficial in the long term associated with the third house thing. Maybe a connection with a sibling, or a small business venture that you're undertaking, some new skill that you're learning, some written work that you're doing, some publication, something that you're reading could be of great benefit to you going forward in the long term in your life. How about that thunder? Isn't that just gorgeous? So I just want to mention, Virgo, the Royal Stars Academy intermediate level is on sale until the 8th of April for $100 off the usual price. If you want to explore astrology in depth and get certified in the process, there's never been a better time. Just head to the link in the description below. Thank you, Virgo. All right, Libra. Libra rising, sun or moon signs. This week we are seeing the energy of Mars in a trinal situation with Saturn coming through your 10th house. That's where it's expressing. So this is where you might be finding that you've got a lot of mojo to put into your career, a lot of ambition and drive that could last for the long term. Saturn is long-term benefit, and so you might start a project that might go on for quite some time, some career project that you are going to have a lot of enthusiasm for and a lot of endurance to put into that particular career project, or that piece of ambition that you want to see fulfilled. There might be a lot of competition in career circles right now, but you have what it takes to endure and be a leader in your career circles as well. Even though it might feel like people are coming up against you, you have the, if you're a Libra rising person, you have not the upper hand. Mars is a winner in the house of, in the 10th house. This is actually where Mars has best directional strength, in the 10th house. So you can win, but you're going to be taking the high road, the mature road, the road of greatest responsibility in order to achieve in the 10th house. So there might be competition, but you are going to come out as the wise one, the mature one, the leader in the situation. Some people might have a career breakthrough under this energy. Mars represents to cut something, so cut old ties that are holding you back. Mars can also represent Mars represents breakthroughs, so to move ahead in some way in a significant capacity, and it will bless you for the long term, trine to Saturn. Mars in the house of authority figures and bosses, and Saturn is an authority figure planet as well. There might be some kind of interaction with a boss or an authority figure or some sort of leader in some way this week. Just watch your emotional reactions to those circumstances. I mean, Cancer, we talked about in the intro, being quite a sensitive placement for Mars to be. So just take everything with a grain of salt and don't react emotionally to any interactions with bosses or authority figures. People might also be observing your sexuality while Mars is in this zone of the chart. It might be, your sexual desires might be more blatant than usual, and they might be out there for the whole world to see in some way. And people, are judgy sometimes, so just be warned and forearmed about that. But I feel that most Librans, because of this interaction, this trine, they're going to be able to display their sexuality to the world in a way that is respectable. Saturn, a way that's respectable, a way that is approved of, a way that feels what's the word I'm looking for here? In a mature way, not sort of a flaunty, tarty, whatever kind of way. Displaying your sexuality that the world likes, that beautiful trine from Saturn. You might find that you are being given authority, you are being given responsibilities, and you certainly have the enthusiasm and the drive as well as the maturity this coming week, my beautiful Librans, to handle any new positions of authority that are given to you. Now, in a Libran chart, Mars rules the 7th house, so I feel that something is going to be happening that's going to bless a trine energy, your partner for the long term. That's going to be enabling your partner to succeed more and to there could be a business partner or a marriage partner or a client or something, but something's going to be happening because of this trine that's going to empower a partner in your life going forward into the long-term future. That's very nice. Mars also rules Scorpio, your second house. So I see your finances being blessed for the long term as well because of that. I think that you're going to be able, my beautiful Libran friends, to see some stabilization in finances and maybe some investments or a project or something that's going to reap financial rewards for you going forward in the long term. Now, I want to mention, my Libran friends, that the Royal Stars Academy Intermediate level is on sale until the 8th of April, and it's $100 off the usual price. So if you have ever wanted to explore astrology in depth and become a certified astrologer in the process, there's never been a better time. Come join me. Links in the description below. Thanks, Libra. Now, Scorpio rising, sun, and moon. Oh, too fast. Scorpio rising, sun and moon people. We are seeing, if you're a Scorpio person, you are seeing the influence of Saturn trine Mars exhibiting in the 9th house. And so it's in the 9th house realm that you might find some solutions to problems. You might have a breakthrough. Are you traveling? Are you going overseas, my beautiful Scorpio friends? Or are you involving yourself in a cultural activity or a celebration of some sort? There might be a breakthrough regarding a situation to do with those things. You know, even if you haven't got a solution immediately, although Mars in this energy can find solutions to problems, absolutely. But you've got the endurance, Saturn, to work through the issues until you do find a solution. You'll also be able to put a steady, slow burn passion into, traveling, finding a solution, or applying to a university, or, studying, or, getting ready for exams, or that sort of thing, doing some sort of higher level learning. You've got this steady passion that you can put into those kinds of activities. You probably might experience a bit of a hunger to travel while Mars is in Cancer, a restless energy. You want to sort of stretch your wings and spread out and go and explore. That can happen. One thing that you might find is occurring in your life over the next week is that people might be trying to force their beliefs on you. They might be being a bit pushy, a bit belligerent. But you know how to, with this trine from Saturn, take the high road, take the mature road, and regard those kinds of people with a steadiness of being, with an understanding heart, and somebody who's a bit more tolerant and patient than you might usually be. It's a good idea to get involved in some sort of sports, because this is quite an active energy, is Mars. But sporting endeavors can bring you lucky breaks. This is a blessed house. So Mars in your 9th house can sort of give you blessing through some sort of Mars-based activity, some sports activity, or maybe going to a jousting school, because Mars is to use tools and implements, maybe learning how to cut stone. Saturn is stone, Mars is to cut things, and learn and expanding your horizons by doing something like that can bring you a lucky break. Using Mars things can bring luck your way with Mars moving through the 9th house. There's when Mars is in the 9th house, we find that we have less time for bullshit, and we can be more blunt than usual. We're no nonsense, especially with Saturn can give that no nonsense effect as well. So here, you if someone tries to present you an idea or a belief or something like that, you're just not going to tolerate putting up with it, but you'll be diplomatic, or you'll be fair, or you'll be, like I said, patient and tolerant about listening to the other person, for example, but not taking it on board. So I've kind of laboring that point a bit much. I probably should leave that there. You might find that you have sudden eureka moments, deep understandings that come out in your experience, breakthroughs of the understanding, breakthroughs of knowledge that absolutely, Scorpio, allow you that give you understanding and knowledge going forward into the future, that are going to benefit you in the long term. This is a house, the 9th house is a house of vision, vision for the future. Where am I heading? Where am I pointing my arrow? So you might get a breakthrough about, oh, this is where I want to go. This is what I want my life to look like. This is my mission. This is my purpose. Mars can give you a breakthrough around that sort of theme. And Saturn, looking forward in the ninth house, but Saturn can make you that vision last for the long term, give you the energy and enthusiasm to pursue that mission, that purpose into the long term. So take note, Scorpio, of what comes up for you this week in terms of realizations or eureka moments about, I want to do this, I want to be here, I want my life to look like this, because it could be a message from the divine about what you are to put your energy into for the long term in the future. Now, I want to point out that in a Scorpio chart, Mars is your first house lord. So you can have blessing, trine here, and ninth house, blessing on your body that lasts the long term, blessing on your physical health that lasts the long term, blessing on, your aura, your presence, your personality to be vitalized for the long term, enthused for the long term, fit for the long term. So that's really good. But also, Mars is the ruler of your sixth house of health and well-being. So for most Scorpio people, this lovely energy this week is going to set you up to be physically healthy going forward for the long term. You might find solutions to problems and physical health. You might find also solutions to debt or issues of lack or issues of imbalance in your life. You might find solutions for this week that will bless you for the long term because Mars rules the sixth house. All right, and Scorpio, I just want to mention that at the moment, the Royal Stars Academy Intermediate level is on sale until the 8th of April for $100 off the usual price. So if you've ever wanted to explore astrology in depth and become a certified astrologer in the process, there's never been a better time. Head to the link in the description. Come join me at the Royal Stars Academy. Okay, Sagittarius rising, sun or moon. Well, the Mars is finally, and I bet you're glad about this, Mars has finally moved out of your seventh house of partnership. So doesn't necessarily mean an end to any sort of fighting or argy-bargy or anything like that with partners, but we get a shift in the energy that we might have been dealing with over the last few months, basically since I think it's October that Mars has been in Gemini. Been hard yards for a long time. So you might by now have found some solutions to problems and had some breakthroughs with relationships. But Mars is currently expressing in the 8th house of your chart with a lovely trine this week from Saturn. So what does this mean? Well, it means big transformations in your life that are going to last the long term changes, big life reversals, 180-degree turns around in your life that are going to be with you going forward for a long time, which is truly, truly lovely. They're going to endure these changes, and they're going to be blessed changes because of the trine from Saturn. Any crisis are seen through the 8th house, are going to actually trigger your fearlessness and your warrior nature, Mars, and you will have this beautiful warrior energy that can lead to a lot of victory over crisis. So if a crisis bubbles up for you this week, know that you have what it takes under this beautiful energy to find the solution, to solve the problem, and to come out the victor in a crisis or stress situation. You might encounter some sort of crisis healer. That's what the 8th house also represents. Counselors, midwives, shaman, regressionists, surgeons, somebody like that who is an authority figure who blesses your life. So, obviously a surgeon would be somebody who brings a long-term blessing into your life. Some sort of a advisor, might be a financial advisor, a marriage counselor, someone like that who's an authority in their field. Saturn is the authority that brings a long-term blessing or a long-term victory into your life in some way that might happen for you this week. You need to be very conscious that these 8th house type people can be bringing a lot of wisdom and blessing to you this week. So, I'm not saying trust everybody you encounter, but, you can lean on this energy of the planets quite a lot. not a little. You can also, I think, if you were to put your vigor and passion, Mars, into learning something 8th house, astrology, acupuncture, anything occult, alternative healing practices, if you put your energy into that, you're going to be blessed for the long term. Saturn giving this long term benefit and thumbs up to any 8th house activities that you get involved with. Okay, Mars in the 8th house can bring fights with partners about mutual resources, so let's not beat around the bush about that. But a beautiful trine from Saturn can give you the ability to endure those, sorting it. Let's say you're going through a divorce and you're sorting out details, financial details. You've got the ability to endure to the point where you see yourself come out the winner in that situation. There might be conflicts, there might be aggression, Mars in the 8th house, but you have the endurance, you have the authority, you have the wisdom, Saturn, to bless that situation. Saturn trine. And even like I can see here, Saturn is in the 4th house. Saturn could be, it's your parents, your family could be also blessing a situation of that nature, my beautiful Sagittarius friends. So remember that. Just be careful. I do have to mention Mars in the 8th house can bring depression. It is possible. Mars is, a lot of people don't know this, but Mars is a planet that can be linked to depression, because when our vitality and enthusiasm is suppressed and internalized, it's not expressing as it should, and that can lead to depression. Saturn in the 4th house can also indicate depression. So there might be circumstances for getting sad and a bit down and emotionally moody or something like that with both of these planets, like Saturn in the 4th house and Mars in the 8th. But they're making a trine to each other, which says you are the warrior, you have the wisdom, you know what to do to overcome that, to heal any of these sort of lower moods, lower energies. And if you're feeling that way, know that it's a cycle and it will pass, but there's blessing that's going to come out of it somehow or other. Yes, your circumstances might be difficult and frustrating at the moment, but ultimately it's going to lead to blessing, trine between these two. I want to just mention, Sagittarius, that the Royal Stars Academy Intermediate level is on sale until the 8th of April. It's $100 off the usual price. If you have wanted to explore astrology in depth and become certified as an astrologer, there's never been a better time to undertake studies with me. Thank you, Sagittarius. Now, Capricorn rising, sun or moon people, the energy of Mars is exhibiting in your 7th house through this trine from your ruler, Saturn, to... I must go back. I am so sorry. I neglected something for Sagittarius. So let's not go to Capricorn just yet. My apologies, Sagittarius. I hope you're still all with me. But in a Sagittarius chart, Mars is the ruler of your 5th house of blessing and luck. This means, taking a risk can really pay off for the long term. Connecting with your children, having a romantic interaction with your lovers, like anything 5th house can be blessed for the long term because of this beautiful trine between Saturn, which is long-term blessing. That's what Saturn trine means, long-term blessing. Going forward into the future, with lovers, with children, and with taking a risk and being lucky. So that can be really great. Also, Mars rules your 12th house. So it's actually any blessing that does come your way is actually very karmic. Saturn's a planet of karma. 12th house is past lives. So whatever unfolds now is indicating blessing from long ago. Remember, Saturn is father time, so long time. And I say long time, I think for Sagittarius people, it's not a long time in the future. It's a long time ago. There is some kind of perhaps cutting of some tie. Mars is to cut from a long time ago. Some karmic tie has been cut and you're now freed. That can be a blessing to have that tie cut. Mars ruling the 12th house. Mars is to cut. And Saturn ruling karma, trining Mars. So something cut out of from a past life that is now no longer burdening you. Thank you, Sagittarius. Okay, now to Capricorn. Sorry to trick you there, Capricorn, a moment ago. Mars is in your 7th house, and so what we're looking at here is the energy of your ruling sign, planet rather, Saturn, trining Mars in the 7th house of partnership. So, you have what it takes, the maturity, Saturn, to sort through any problems. Mars can be fights and arguments or passion with other people. You have the maturity to come out on top, to sort out those arguments, to find a solution and solve problems with other people under this energy, which is such a blessing. So use this energy to address any issues you've got with other people, because you'll do it with maturity, and yet you'll be assertive enough to not necessarily get your way, but to have your point of view heard. So it's a great week for serious discussions that need to be addressed. You should also use this energy, Mars in the 7th house, to fight for others, not with others where possible. So who in your world do you know that needs an advocate, that needs a warrior, that needs fighting for? Use this Mars energy in the house of other people. You will be able to be the mature one, the wise one on their behalf. Saturn trining Mars. This is the realm of the partner, the spouse. So there might be some arguments. Mars is arguments with a spouse. Again, you have the ability, because of Saturn, to find mature solutions, wise solutions. Some Capricorn people might find that there is a split in relationships, or Mars is to cut, and this is the realm of relationships. So it could be a business partnership that's severed. It could be a relationship of some other sort that's severed, a relationship with a client or a divorce or something like that, where there's a severing of a relationship. But I want to point out that you will be able to deal with it with wisdom, Saturn trine. If you're going through that sort of thing, you'll be able to deal with it with wisdom, and it can bring you benefit in the long term. So even though these things can be very hard, it's like, divorces and disconnection and splitting up of partnerships of any sort can feel like death a lot of times. But you have the maturity to handle it this week, because of Saturn's trine, and the wisdom to know what next steps to take and how to handle it well. So that, in a sense, is a blessing, even though what I'm describing here can be a very difficult circumstance in life. You'll have the tendency to pursue what you want in business. This is a business house as well, very aggressively this week, and yet you will end up being blessed through putting your enthusiasm there, putting your vitality into some business deal or negotiation, that sort of thing. It can be very full of blessing for the long term. Some business deal, some contract you're signing, some negotiations that you're involved in, you'll pursue them vigorously, and it can bless you for the long term as well. Now, in a Capricorn chart, Mars is the ruler of your 4th house. So there can be something long-term beneficial happening with regard to a home, your family, your heritage, your roots, your lineage. Something domestic can be bringing a source of blessing to your life for the long term. Saturn long term, Mars as the ruler. Mars is also ruling Scorpio, which is your 11th house. So blessing in the long term with a situation with friends, or long-term profitability and gainfulness in some manner. Probably some long-term profitability or gainfulness is available to you through a connection, through a partnership, through a contract, through a deal, through some business negotiation that might be unfolding. So in that sense, it could be really lovely for our beautiful Capricorn friends. Aquarius rising, sun or moon people. Well, Mars for you guys is falling in the 6th house, which is Cancer in whole sign astrology. I should just mention that the intermediate level of the Royal Stars Academy is on sale until the 8th of April for $100 off the usual price. So if you're a Capricorn or Aquarius person, I'm sharing this with you for both, if you want to explore astrology in depth and get certified in the process, there's never been a better time. Just head over to the description, the link in the description below. Okay, on the 30th of March, Mars trine to Saturn affecting your 6th house. There's going to be the really strong ability to find solutions to problems, to have breakthroughs with debt, with health, with lack of education or disadvantage in some way. This is a beautiful energy to find some solutions. Saturn is your traditional ruler, Aquarius, and Mars is a malefic in a malefic house. And when two malefic houses two malefic, like a malefic planet and a malefic house are together, two negatives make a positive. You have the ability to be victorious in some sort of difficult situation. Like I said, with some level of imbalance in your life, with a conflict, with an accident, with a frustration. You've got this. You will handle those situations with maturity, wisdom, and ultimately it can bring blessing for the long term. Trine from Saturn. Now, if you are an employer, this is the house that represents your employees. You might find some solutions and breakthroughs and problem solving for your employees. There could be a blessing for you in the long term. There's a real logic to Mars in the 6th house. So you can deal with things logically and fearlessly, and deal with adversity in a logical, fearless way with a great deal of maturity. Saturn trine as well. The 6th house has to do with our karmic responsibility to serve the world, and Saturn is the planet of karma. So there's a real karmic energy here. You've got the vigor, the enthusiasm, the drive, probably the strategy as well, to know how you can burn some karma. Saturn karma in a blessed way in this house of serving others to burn karma. So if you see somebody in need, or if you see an opportunity to help, take it. Use your vigor, run with it, because this is an energy for blessing that can come to you through serving others, through being resolving your karma through service. Very strong with this configuration in the chart. Now, while Mars transits here through your 6th house, Aquarius, just watch out for hot and spicy foods playing havoc with your digestion. Usually this is a beneficial aspect, a trine, but Mars in the 6th house can sort of, stir up digestive issues to do with hot foods and spicy foods and that sort of thing. And you don't want that sort of thing lasting with you for the long term. So watch what you're eating during this time. Now, in an Aquarius chart, Mars is the ruler of the 3rd house. So this indicates some sort of long-term blessing with a small business, with a skill or a trade, maybe a long-term blessing with a situation with a sibling or a relative or a neighbor or something that could bless you for the long term. Mars also is the ruler of Scorpio, your 10th house, Aquarius. So I'm seeing a lot of emphasis here. 10th house is career. This is the house of work. I'm seeing blessing coming to you regarding a work situation or a career situation that could be with you, lasting as a form of blessing for the long term. Mars ruling the 10th house in the 6th house, trined by Saturn, representing long-term benefit. Sounds good. Now, Aquarius friends, as I mentioned, I'll leave that now and we'll move on. Thank you, Aquarius. Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces moon people. The energy of Mars in Cancer, trined by Saturn, is blessing your 5th house. Okay, what does this mean? It means you have the ability in the coming week to find a breakthrough, to have a breakthrough with love, a breakthrough with a romantic situation, to have a breakthrough with a situation with your children, or a breakthrough if you've had, creator's block. You might have a breakthrough now and get the creative juices flowing because of Mars in 5th house, trined by Saturn in the house of you. You'll find the solution. You'll initiate the answer. You will find a way around a problem. You can also act upon your deepest desires and manifest what you feel strongly about to do with 5th house things now, love, children, romance, fun, and creativity. So there's lots of romantic sparks and fireworks available to Pisces people this week. Yay! And whatever happens in that regard is likely to be with you for the long term. So if you initiate a romance or a sexual liaison or something like that this week, know that the results of that tete-a-tete could be very long-reaching, very enduring and long-lasting with a lover. Children, some sort of interaction with your children could result in a long-lasting situation of blessing. So maybe, I don't know, maybe you need to sort of be more. Mars is quite a playful, sporty energy, so maybe you need to be more playful with your children, Pisces, and if you are, maybe it creates a beautiful situation with your children that is going to, like a dynamic that's going to bless you for the long term. Certainly Saturn is authority figures, but you, in the house of you, Saturn might be being the authority figure with your children, but it's received benevolently by your children. So there's an authority that you carry, maybe as a parent or something, or a teacher. Perhaps you're a teacher of high school age kids or something. That authority is received benevolently by your children or by your teenage students if you're a teacher, that can go forward and be blessing you for the long term in that relationship. What else can I say about this one? You are going to have any creative projects that you initiate, Pisces, are going to be blessed for the long term, are going to flourish for the long term as well. You can be lucky going forward for the long term too because of the trine from Saturn. So luck can be with you, which is really wonderful. Now, also in a Pisces chart, Mars is the ruler of your second house. In fact, Mars in a Pisces chart is our indicator of prosperity. So I personally, as a Pisces rising, am delighted to see Mars move into the fifth house of luck. It means our finances can take an upturn. Mars rules the house of finances, second house, and also the ninth house, the house of blessing. And here goes Mars into the other house of blessing, the fifth house, which is luck. So I feel this could be very advantageous for Pisces people, because whatever luck and prosperity and blessing comes your way, particularly in the week ahead, my beautiful Pisces friends, it's going to last the long term. It's going to be a blessing from the divine in your life for the long term. So your creative projects can give you a lot of reward, a lot of blessing financially. Mars, your indicator of finances, as a result, your creative projects can be very financially blessed. Your children might be financially blessed. Your lovers might be financially blessed. And through play and creativity, there might be some sort of beautiful, long-lasting, long-term into the future financial reward. Also, the ninth house has to do with foreign things, overseas things. So it could be that you're blessed through some foreign situation. Maybe a foreigner comes into your life, a foreign lover comes into your life and blesses your life in some way, and it lasts for the long term. That could be the case. Lovers is fifth house, ninth house is foreign. Saturn bringing longevity to that particular romantic energy of the fifth house, of course. That could be beautiful. But yeah, something foreign, something creatively foreign or romantically foreign, something to do with children in foreign places can bring a long-term blessing into your life. How lovely for Pisces people. And on that note, I just want to remind you, my Pisces friends, that the Royal Stars Academy intermediate level of astrology is on sale until the 8th of April for $100 off the usual price. If you've wanted to explore astrology in depth and become certified in the process, there's never been a better time. Simply head to the link in the description below. Thank you, my beautiful Pisces. Now, Aries rising, Aries Sun, Aries Moon people. Well, the energy of Saturn trining Mars is affecting your fourth house. And this is where you're going to notice that you might have some really strategic solutions to problems. You might have a breakthrough regarding a property, regarding a family situation or family dynamic, regarding an emotional situation that you're dealing with. You might find that there are some solutions that now manifest. You may have been feeling restrained in some way emotionally for a while there, but any anger issues, any defensiveness, you have the maturity to overcome with a trine from Saturn. So use that maturity. Handle any conflicts with family, any difficult situations with wisdom. Remember, this is about finding solutions to problems to do with fourth house things. Ordinarily, we would say with Mars moving through the fourth house, be careful of accidents in the home, especially anything to do with fire or knives or electrical appliances and that sort of thing. But Saturn is going to be kind of like a protector energy in that regard. You don't need to worry too much about that sort of thing this week. In fact, you might find solutions. Let's say your fireplace has been on the blink. You might find a solution now. If your knives have been blunt, you might find a way to sharpen them now so that they are actually working well for you. If your electrical equipment's been a bit dodgy, you might be blessed to find some opportunity to replace those electrical appliances. So there can be real solutions to Mars things in the home thanks to Saturn's beautiful trine here. You might be feeling like you need more space in your home in the next week. That's okay. And that can be just a result of this energy. If you're feeling a little bit cramped, a little bit restricted, there is the opportunity to make changes that give you a sense of more space and more freedom. Some of you might be looking at selling or renovating a home going forward into the next couple of weeks while Mars moves through here, because Mars is a real estate agent in the realm of home. So you might be thinking about selling, or you might get a quote from someone for what your house is worth. You might get a quote from an expert. Saturn is mastery. The expert real estate agent giving you a quote for what your home is actually worth. So in that sense, that can be one of the expressions of this energy as well. Some of you might decide with Mars in the fourth house that you want to go get your ears pierced, or a nipple ring, or a nose ring, or something like that, because Mars is piercings, and it's interesting whenever he's in the fourth house, we do get a bit of an inclination that way sometimes. Whether we follow through with it or not is another matter, but that's another interesting manifestation that we see in this case. Now, in an Aries chart, obviously Mars is the ruler of you and the body, so it's particularly strong for Aries people to have that inclination to go and get a piercing when Mars moves through the fourth house, because Mars is the ruler of the house of the body, the house of your physicality, your physical self. So that can also be the case, but you'll probably be feeling more assertive, more like putting your imprint on your home. You're initiating what happens in the home, making your home more a display of you when Mars, first house lord, moves through the fourth. Mars is also the lord of the eighth house. So there could be some long-term change in your life, some 180-degree turnaround that's going to ultimately bless you. And it might mean a change that affects your home in some way. Some crisis situation, eighth house, that affects your home that will ultimately bring blessing, even though it might not look like it on the outside. It could mean that in the long term, you'll be blessed because of maybe, I don't know, this is the house of divorce. Maybe you're dealing with a divorce situation. And ultimately, you're trying to figure out the assets, the home, the contents, and ultimately you're going to be blessed by this situation. Mars ruling the eighth house in the fourth, with a blessing of a trine in the long term by Saturn. So don't be too concerned with what's happening in the immediate now, Aries. Look to the long-term future. You could be stand to gain quite well long term. But also, there's some big life change that's occurring that might affect your home life in the long term in a blessed, beneficial way as well. Now, before I conclude, Aries, the Royal Stars Academy Intermediate level is on sale until the 8th of April for $100 off the usual price. If you've ever wanted to explore astrology in depth and become certified, there's never been a better time. Just head to the link in the description below. Thank you. Now, Taurus rising, Taurus sun, Taurus moon people. Well, the energy, let's get this right. The energy of Mars with a trine from Saturn is expressing through your third house. And this is happening on the 30th of March at 2 degrees here. Now, this is where you might find that your speech is energized, because Mars energizes speech in the third house. But the thing is, you'll also have the maturity. It won't just be like the foot in mouth disease. It'll be like, let's think about this. Let's make wise decisions with the words we use. And therefore your speech can be very powerful and very effective. It can cause it can cause blessing, but you will be assertive with what you say. So your words carry weight, they carry wisdom, and they are powerful now with a trine from Saturn to Mars. Energized speech that's wise. It can help you, Mars can help you be more of a patient listener. I mean, Mars doesn't have a reputation in the third house for being a very patient listener, that's for sure. But Saturn is going to help ease that. It's going to help you to be a bit more, a bit more of a patient listener, a bit more enduring, a bit more steady with your ability to listen and take on board what other people are saying and hear what other people are saying. You are likely to be very busy over the coming week with a lot of emails and letters and that sort of thing. And you can feel like you're being very productive in doing so, like you're really getting somewhere and getting things sorted, getting things organized. You might have some sort of quick unexpected trip that comes up for you in the next week. And it is likely this little trip might be into a nearby town or a weekend getaway or something like that. This short trip is going to be something that could bless you for the long term and be beneficial for you for the long term. So that's something really nice. Yeah, if you're invited on a trip or you want to go on a winery tour or something like that, then by all means go for it, because this energy stands to bless you by taking a short trip. Now, if you run a small business, if you have your own, like a home-based business or just a business that you run where you earn the money, then there is something that might happen this week that could bless you for the long term. If you put your enthusiasm into it and your drive, Mars energy, then blessing from a trine from Saturn can come for the long term to you. Put your steady endurance and your steady passion into your small business or into your talent or your skill that you're cultivating, and it will bless you for the long term. Siblings and neighbors are seen through the third house as well, and I feel that you may receive some wise advice or wise news from a sibling or a neighbor or someone who gives you some very wise information. So that's a blessing as well. Just be careful. Mars in the third house can give you racing thoughts. You can't switch off. You can't turn the mind down a notch. But look, Saturn might help steady things a bit, but it's still worthwhile doing some meditation or breath work or something that can help ease a rushing mind, a troubled mind when Mars is moving through the third house. Now, in a Taurus chart, Mars rules the 12th house. So I mentioned this a little earlier, but with a different sign, but this is the house of past lives, and Saturn is the planet of karma. So I see that for some Taurus people, there's some sort of karma that is now ending. Maybe karma with a sibling, karma with a relative that is being cut. It's time, it's done, it's finished. And it can bless you for the long term to finish that energy with some relative, sibling, or a neighbor. So it's something from the past. It's usually probably something from a long time ago, an issue with a sibling or an issue with a relative that hurt you a long time ago. Now is the time for cutting that out of your life and setting yourself free from that. Saturn, the planet of karma, is blessing you to be able to do that. Mars, Lord of the 12th house of the past lives and earlier this lifetime, to set you free. Mars in a Taurus chart is also the Lord of your 7th house. So what this is telling me, very, very interestingly, is that Mars rules partners. So there might be some sort of karma, 12th house and 7th house, with a partner that's now ending in some way or changing in some way, or you're having a breakthrough with that situation in some way that is going to bless you in the long term. So I'm seeing a breakthrough where you can exhibit your maturity to a situation that can be with a partner that's going to bless you for the long term. But you need to use your maturity. You need to be a grown-up. Saturn energy is to be responsible, to be, just to carry your burdens is Saturn. And in doing so, you have the vitality and the wisdom, Saturn, to handle a situation with a partner or something from long ago in the past that you can now move beyond and heal from. So that's what I'm seeing for our Taurus friends. And finally, lucky last, Gemini rising, Gemini sun, Gemini moon people, our beautiful mutable signs. I love the mutable signs. Gemini friends, we have Mars moving finally out of your first house. Hallelujah. I bet you're glad about that. And into a different house. Mars has been here for so long, mucking around with who you are and causing all sorts of havoc in your life. Now you can let a breath out and catch your breath again. But Mars is now in your second house. So what does this mean? This means when there's a trine from Saturn to Mars in the second, you might have some solutions to financial problems. You might have a breakthrough with a financial situation or with a sense of self-worth even as well. So you might find a solution to a problem financially or in worthiness. You have the endurance and the steady passion to make any necessary changes to your financial situation as well, Gemini. And also to manifest what you feel strongly about in the material realm. So you probably will be able to put a lot of enthusiasm into sorting out financial details in your life. You'll also put wisdom into sorting out financial details. Money can come in quickly into your life now because of Mars's energy, and you have what it takes under this trine from Saturn to make that money last for the long term. It won't be just sort of quickly in and quickly out. You will know what to do. Saturn is wisdom, trining Mars. You'll know what to do to make that go for the long term. There might be an energy of fighting. Mars is fighting for some financial situation, some financial circumstance. Mars is to fight, but there's going to be some, I feel, Saturn in the 10th house, some master, some wisdom keeper, some wise person, wise authority figure who's going to bless you in being able to sort this out, that financial thing. In fact, I would suggest maybe speaking to a financial advisor or some sort of other wisdom keeper, some master of financial affairs or, sense of self-worth or self-value, maybe a counselor or something like that can help you improve your worthiness or improve your financial situation through their wisdom and their guidance, so you don't have to fight so hard for the financial balance that you probably seek. The voice is seen through the second house. Some of you might, with Mars moving into the second house, might be speaking with loud words, loud and aggressive. Saturn can moderate that and tone things down, Once this trine is finished, as Mars moves into the latter degrees of Cancer, you might get loud and aggressive again. But while Saturn is making a trine, he's going to moderate that more aggressive voice that can come out when we have Mars transiting our second house. Watch what you eat. Again, this is one of the houses of food. The other is the sixth house. The sixth house is diet, what we eat. This is the food we eat, or how we eat, and the diet that we have is the sixth house. Food is here. So you might be inclined to have more spicy foods, more hot foods. You might be inclined to eat very fast. But you know what? Under this trine from Saturn, you can probably get away with it because Saturn is going to moderate. That trine influence can sort of tone things down so that it doesn't damage you as much. Or if you're eating fast and you get you bite your tongue or you get indigestion or something like that from eating too fast, Saturn's going to prevent a lot of that sort of stuff from happening because gentle trine to Mars. He can tone things down. So that's what I'm seeing. Now, in a Gemini rising chart, Mars is ruling the 11th house. So there might be some sort of situation with a friend or a group or a network that you have that's going to be a blessing for you in the long term, maybe a financial blessing in the long term. Saturn, trine Mars, Mars ruling the 11th house of friendships and networks. So I feel that for some of you Gemini people, there's been some sort of network, some sort of connection that you've had that's now perhaps forming a financial blessing for you. Not only that, but Mars also rules your sixth house. And so really there is a strong emphasis on watching what you eat, how you eat, the food that you eat, the diet that you have. It's probably a good idea to review that, I would say, at the under this energy this week and make some choices about how you're eating and how it is or is not benefiting you. I also see some benefits coming to you for the long term because Mars rules the sixth house of health and well-being, while Saturn is trining. So any changes you make to your dietary habits or your exercise routine or your budget, this is debt is seen through the sixth house, Mars is in the second house of finances. If you make changes and strategies around debt and health and well-being and diet and exercise and any other problems in life, you can have blessing for the long term with a trine from Saturn. Now, my beautiful Gemini friends, the Royal Stars Academy intermediate level is on sale until the 8th of April for $100 off the usual price. If you have ever wanted to explore astrology in depth and get certified, there's never been a better time. So come and join me at the Royal Stars Academy. We start our workshops for the introductory level this week. And thank you one and all for journeying through the astral skies with me this week. I'll be back with another astro weather report for you all next week. I'll catch you then.